So I am Eva Zaret. My maiden name was Klein, and I was born 1936 in Budapest, Hungary. I was 7 years old when I lived through the Holocaust, and I started my family, which I wanted to do more than anything because I felt that I saw so many people murdered, including my family, part of my family, that I felt that I want to make a better world. And I started by talking to people, talking to young people, telling my family about what happened to me and where is my family, and I miss them all the time. And then I had two daughters, and both of them got married, and they had each two children, a girl and a boy. And then my granddaughter, number one, Tamar, um, when I was 40 years old, I became a grandma, and your mom, Tamar, was born, and I just thought the world got better for me. How wonderful the world is. I have such a beautiful granddaughter, and then I had a grandson, David, your uncle. And then your mom had two beautiful children.
Okay, so my name is Tali or Belly. My middle name is Mia. Right now I am 11 years old. Right now where I live in Denver, Colorado.
What does it mean to have Eva as your great grandmother, and why do you want to help share her story?
Well, it means to have her as my grandmother. It's like really important to me because surviving the Holocaust as a Jewish person is a thing that like barely anyone could do, I guess. And why do I want to help share her story? Because even though we already know the Holocaust happened, people could like make it happen again, something like it, and to share the story so people are aware of it, and so they don't do that. Yeah.
How important is kindness and goodness, because if we lose that, it can become again hatred and war, and as what's going on now, it's just boomerangs. Hatred brings more hatred.
Yeah.
So it is the most important thing for me to, when I go out and speak or to tell you the story, how important is for me to you to understand what was and how you should behave towards your fellow man. I feel that kindness is so important, and it's so important to teach that to the new generations. And I always feel that all the family that I lost, that I was not able to grow up as a older person with all that family, and I miss my father so much all through the years. And many Holocaust survivors have no grandparents, no family, and it's like we missed 6 million people were murdered. And Tali, I love the idea that you want to write a book about it, and I will give you all the pictures, because that will be the legacy for my future generations, your future generations. Isn't that wonderful that you planning to do that, so your children and your sister's children and your cousin's children will know about me and what I went through, and all the missing people that were murdered still gonna be alive in our mind and our hearts.
Tali, why is it important for you to share And what part of your legacy do you want to put out into the world so that you can keep this story alive?
Well, as my mom already knows, I want to be an author. And authors obviously, well, they write books to put out into the world, and writing a book on you that would be put out into the world would just be really great. And yeah, like I said, it would kind of spread the message, like, yeah.
When you told me that you want to write a book about my story, about the history of our family and what happened to me, it gave me such a great joy. And my heart just almost exploded from joy. And I'm so glad that you're doing this, Tali. You're a wonderful human being, and you're a wonderful writer. You expresses yourself so well. And thank you so much.
Thank you. The book is called Eva's Hope, though. Okay. It all started quickly with a young 7-year-old calling the war. Eva Zaret was a child when the Holocaust began, and she lost most of her childhood and family to it, but she survived to tell the tale. She was hoarded, starved, abused, and she was made to feel less of a human. It seemed hopeless. One thing that kept her alive was love. She knew that someday, somehow, she would be free and love would conquer. The horrors of the Holocaust are long over now, but Eva's wish is to spread that love brings more love, and no one should have to face the challenges she did. Eva kept her family alive, however, by starting her own after the Holocaust, and that led her to me, her great-grandchild.
I really appreciate how you approached it and how you described me as your great-grandmother as a child, and your grandmother who loves you so much, my daughter, I brought out to this country when she was only a baby. Here is her picture. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And this is my passport picture to come to this country. And your grandma here is 1.5-year-old. So you will write the story of people like here is my father with me the last time I saw him. I was 7 years old. And he was taken away from me, and I miss him every day. And this is my mother and me during the war. And I have other pictures that I will give you when you're writing the book, and I will give it to you. And you're gonna create this big book about the history of my life and the people that you missed, that I missed all my life, and you never knew. So they're gonna come alive. And do you understand that what was lost, Tali, during the Holocaust? 6 million, and how many children? And it's really for the future. We lost so many people. Maybe some people amongst them could have been a scientist who would have bring salvation to the world, peace and goodness, and they all were murdered. And that's what horrible things war is and Holocaust was. And that's why we have to speak out and change the world. And that's why I want, and I love you so much, I want you to understand how love and kindness and goodness creates a better world. And I'm very grateful to you that you are taking this undertaking this, and it gives me a lot of pleasure and hope. as you call it, hope. Yes.
Yeah.
So the most important thing beside hope is love, right?
Yeah, I agree. How do you have space to love after you saw so much hatred?
You know, I felt after I was liberated that I lost all hope. And I was very sad that so many of my family did not survive. And I was, and I lived through the Hungarian Revolution. I lived in fascism and communism. And then I escaped after the Hungarian Revolution. As I was standing in line in the Vienna embassy to the United States embassy to apply for a visa to come out to the United States, Judy was in my arm, my baby, who was a year and a half. And I was 20 years old, 19 at that time. And I was holding my baby, as I saw so many times during the Holocaust that people just grabbed the babies and killed them and shot them and throw them to the walls. My baby was crying and I didn't know what I should do, step out of the line or do something. Maybe she was wet, maybe she was hungry, both. And a woman, I didn't speak German. This was Austria, Vienna. And a woman touched my shoulder and I didn't know her and I couldn't speak with her. And she shows me with her hand to follow her. And I was scared, but I didn't know what to do. Judy was crying. My baby was crying. And she took me 2 blocks away to her house. And she cut up her sheet from her bed. And she gave me diapers. And she fed me and she fed my baby. And that restored something in me, in my heart, how kind this strange person is, and how wonderful when you can touch another human being and doesn't know me, and kindness give me kindness, and it restored my feeling towards humanity. And at that moment, I said, there are enough good people in this world. And if there is more, we stand up for the right, for the goodness, and for love. It's going to be more good people. And that's when I started speaking about it and I opened up my heart. And that's how I feel that we make a better world by speaking out, by doing good things.
Yeah, I agree.
So you understand, Tali, what's going on in the world now? Wars and hatred and all kinds of hatred. You know, bully, when you see bullying in school or seeing bullying on the street or just see bullying on television, does it bother you? And you want to make it better, right?
Yeah.
So you think when you write a book and people are going to read that, they're going to be changed by it? So that is an important thing what you about to do, right? Very important, not just for you or our family, but to other people. Even if you just change 10 people with your book, wouldn't that be wonderful to make 10 people good people? And maybe more than 10. If you change one person's life to the better, that's a great thing to do, right? I am so grateful to you, Tali, that you want to do this.
I'm so
And it
grateful.
was your idea, honey.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you. And thank you.
And I thank you for your love. And I feel your love. When I'm with you, or even when I am not with you, I feel your love, Tali. I do. And your kindness. I survived the Holocaust when most of my family did not. And I am constantly asking myself, why did I survive when so many people died? So I am always reading and studying. And I was reading Ecclesiastes, which is a part of the Bible. And chapter 7 helped me make my interpretation of the big question. To live life is to aim to be worthwhile and to love your fellow man, love your family without judgment, and leave behind good memories. The end is nothing else than the victorious end of the adventure, which is life. And I always feel that if we do the right thing, the world gets better. And as it says that our people will live forever because we do good things in life.
Something that gives me hope is knowing that no matter what, there are still like good people in the world.
And thank you.
Thank you.